Where is he? Come on up here, Elon. He created the first major American car company in generations, and his rocket company is the only reason we can now send American astronauts into space. Come here. Take over, Elon. Yes, take over. Is the only reason we can now send American astronauts into space. Take over, Elon. Yes, take over.
All right. Well, despite being best buddies now, it seems that President Trump was not always the biggest fan of Elon Musk, especially not when he was jumping around on the stage like an idiot at his Butler rally back in October. I know it was just a few months ago, but it feels like forever ago, doesn't it? But first, before we get into what Trump said about Elon Musk allegedly, Cenk, what do you think of their relationship? Do you think it's just for show? Do you think they actually like each other? Or do you think maybe it's mutually beneficial and Trump is just going to drop Elon once he is no longer useful?
Yeah, no, the only reason why Trump hasn't dropped Elon Musk when he normally hates sharing the spotlight, despises it to his core, is because of Zamani Lebowski. So what form that takes is an interesting question. And whether this story is believable is an interesting question because of the person telling it, but it's got a lot of interesting nuggets in it. So let's talk about it and see what we believe and what we don't believe. So what do you got there, Yas?
Yeah, absolutely. That is a great point, and we will get into the credibility of all of this. But in Michael Wolff's new book, All or Nothing, How Trump Recaptured America, Wolff delves into all of the juicy drama that surrounds the main characters of the Trump administration, like Elon Musk and Donald Trump and JD Vance. So following Trump's return to Butler, Pennsylvania, after his first assassination attempt, Elon Musk raised some eyebrows as he bounced around on the stage. You all remember it. We all saw it. It was weird. And apparently Trump had the same reaction as the rest of us. Wolff wrote in his book, it was first reported by the Daily Beast, what the F is wrong with this guy and why doesn't his shirt fit? Because, his belly was all over the place. It was brutal, but apparently that's not all that happened that day. In addition to Trump having some choice words for Elon Musk, Elon also had some choice words, or really no words at all, for JD Vance at the rally. He said, "I really no interest in speaking to a vice president," Musk replied after being asked if he would like to meet Vance while snacking on pretzels. So it makes you wonder why we haven't seen a joint interview with Elon and JD Vance, but yet we've gotten a joint interview with Elon Musk and Trump. Take a look.
The New York Times, Washington Post, 3 networks, every late night comedy show, 2 cable channels. They threw everything, lawfare, weaponization.
Sure.
And now I see they want you two to start. They want a divorce. They want you two to start hating each other.
They tried it, then they stopped. That wasn't. They have many different things of hatred. Actually, Elon called me. He said, they're trying to drive us apart. I said, absolutely.
Do you view Vice President JD Vance as your successor, the Republican nominee in 2028?
No, but he's very capable.
Not mincing words there. So as Cenk mentioned earlier, we do have to take all of this with a grain of salt because as we'll get into next, Michael Wolff might not be the most credible source in the world, but even if these accounts are true, there's really no way to prove it. And even if we could prove it, so what? Trump supporters and Elon supporters aren't going to drop their guys over something like this. Although I did find it funny that Elon allegedly said he didn't want to talk to a vice president, not the vice president, but just like any vice president because vice presidents are lame. Mark, let's start with you. Is this fun for you or is it maybe a little bit tiresome?
Well, there's foretelling of everything in even the clip from that rally when he says, take over, Elon, because he really has turned the keys of the governmental car over to Elon Musk. But the other thing is very much to what Cenk says, and I have a third thing. The other thing is about the money and the fact that he has a lot of leverage with government contracts. So there'll really never probably be a breakup of the sort that Sean Hannity was hinting at in that interview, or the idea somehow that this guy would take a lot of the spotlight would normally absolutely end their relationship. As Cenk says, there's no question about that. But he, and this is the third thing, also performs an incredibly important role in their relationship, Elon does, and that is that he takes a lot of the hate. This is going to be a hateful period. Already it's happening. You see Americans turning on this plan where they just decapitate government and sort of haphazardly with a meat axe just get rid of stuff. I mean, there's no evaluation of fraud and abuse. They are just getting rid of people, and this bloodletting that they're doing is really unpopular. It's going to affect a lot of key governmental aspects of life that Americans count on. So they hate who? They hate Elon Musk, and in a way, he's blocking for Donald Trump. Trump's approval ratings are still much higher than Elon's right now. So I think when you add that all together, you've got Elon doing the dirty work. You've got Elon with all that leverage as a contractor and beyond, and all that money that he can pour into and threaten other political figures who might be adversarial to Trump. And lastly, he can take the heat for Trump. That's the way I see the relationship.
Yeah. So why is he still hanging around? Because put aside this. Look, Michael Wolff is a guy who was very respected back in the day. But then during the first Trump term, he put a couple of things in his books that didn't seem like they were real. And then, or at least not verified enough. And it sent, because look, if you're in the right wing and Elon says that we've saved, actually Trump said billions, Elon said a lot of money that was going from US aid to big media, right? Traditional media. I'm just picking one of the random lies, right? And so then they look into it. USAID turns out had spent $24,000 on news subscriptions for their employees. Oh, if you want to read the New York Times as part of your job, you need to know that, and you had to get beyond the paywall. Okay, the USAID will pay for that news subscription. 24,000. Trump said billions, right? So these huge lies, etc. So look, I like Mark's theory, and I've hinted at that as well before, where when we did the story of Elon Musk polling numbers going down, but Trump's was still high. So he's taken a lot of the blows for Donald Trump. It seemed like Mark was going towards saying that he's kind of an offensive line for Donald Trump in more ways than one, right? And so that's true. But is that why Trump is still staying with him? No, that's too sophisticated for Trump. And he hates sharing the spotlight. He's always hated it. So my point is that with whether Michael Wolff is right or not about this particular story, we know Donald Trump. And we know that anytime that anyone's shared the spotlight with him, he's immediately cut him off at the knees. And forget getting rid of him. You all, even if you're on the right, you'll know this is true. He'll always cut them down. He'll always humiliate them and embarrass them, like he did with Chris Christie, and he's so fat. Even with RFK Jr., making him eat the McDonald's, and it just in every way he's always. That's such a tiny story, but I've seen it 1,000 times. Tim Scott, Nikki Haley appointed you the senator from South Carolina, so you come on here and tell everybody how awful Nikki Haley is, and then he's just doing it. He made fun of how Tim Scott might be gay. But he's never humiliated Elon Musk. Why? There's such a simple answer. Zamani Lebowski. So look, let me give you a couple of quick ones. First of all, $277 million in campaign contributions to Donald Trump, his largest donor. And you guys, George Soros, it's true. George Soros is a huge donor on the Democratic side. We are concerned about George Soros, not as a person, not as whatever the hell he wants to do in his private life. And I like the charities that he gives money to, etc. But I'm concerned about anybody at all being able to buy our politicians. And the right wing used to be concerned about that. Now, 277 million, that is an unbelievable amount of money. If Soros had spent that money buying Biden or Trump, you all would jump out of your skin. So does Donald Trump care about that? Of course, but theoretically, hopefully he doesn't run again. So why does he care beyond that? Because then Elon, right after the election, said, Twitter did something bad to you before I took over. Here's $10 million check. Straight, not into the taxpayers, into Donald Trump's pocket. You just gave him $10 million, just gave it to him, right? So now then Trump used to be against crypto. Musk and the other guys come and whisper in his ear, crypto, yeah, crypto's, hey, look, you're a con, man. Half of crypto is nothing but a con. These things called meme coins. They're worthless, but you put them up, and then people put their money in, especially because they trust you, and you're a legendary con man. They'll put it, and they did $15 billion into his meme coin, and then you pull the rug, and that's now down to $3 billion, and then to $12 billion. We pocket all together, and again, not to the taxpayers, not to the Republican Party, not to your campaign. We put the money in our freaking pockets. That's why he hasn't cut Elon Musk down to size. That's why he hasn't gotten rid of him, because Elon's dangling that money in front of him. It's like 10 million here, a little bit more there, a little bit more there. Come here, come here, come here, doggy. And so that's what's happening here. But that's part of why Bannon is disgusted by this situation, is because it's so brazen and obvious. So, and last thing, and then Yaz, back to you, is that Elon's a runaway freight train. Again, he says this about Vance, Trump says it about Elon or not behind the scenes. Doesn't matter. I got eyes and ears, man. So look, I don't know if he's on things. People keep saying he's on things. A lot of people on the right say he's on things. I don't know. I don't know the drug world, and I don't know, and I don't care. Okay, but he acts so freaking weird, and I don't mean weird like, oh, he makes me uncomfortable. No, he just does things that are nonsensical. I don't care if he's on something or not on something. He's a runaway freight train, and so. This is not going to end well, and not just for the country, but for the right wing. You touch people's social security, you screw up anything along those lines, you're gonna lose the entire country. So again, if I was a right winger, I'd be furious at these clowns, because it's all about them, and they're never gonna give you any of the things that you actually want.
Yeah, I'm honestly surprised that this relationship has lasted as long as it has, because they're both such egomaniacs. They both need all the money and all the power and all the authority, all the attention. Right now, they seem to have some common interests and some common goals, but it's really only a matter of time before this implodes on both of them. Elon Musk has all the money in the world. He has the most money out of everyone in the world. And Donald Trump has a lot of money on his own, but he doesn't have as much as Elon Musk. But Trump is more familiar with the political aspect of things, and he is still the president, right? As much as we like to joke about President Elon Musk, Trump is still the president. He's still the one who has all the protections. He's still the one who gets to, wield his power and influence with other world leaders around, and in Congress and with the judiciary. So we'll see. It's going to be an interesting power play between the two of them. But apart from that, going back to Michael Wolff and whether or not he is credible, following the Daily Beast report, White House officials have actually denounced the reports. It's not surprising, really. And they called the author, Michael Wolff, a lying sack of crap. This is Stephen Chung, the White House comms director. He said Michael Wolff is a lying sack of something and has been proven to be a fraud. He routinely fabricates stories originating from his sick and warped imagination, only possible because he has a severe and debilitating case of Trump derangement syndrome that has rotted his peanut-sized brain. Trump's 2024 senior campaign advisors, Chris LaCivita and Jason Miller, also issued a joint statement saying Michael Wolff's latest work of fiction is total garbage and should be completely disregarded. The scenes are imaginary, the conversations are fake, the dialogue is made up, and once again, just like his other books falsely attacking President Trump, nobody believes any of it. It's been widely reported that Wolff's previous works have been riddled with inaccuracies and copy editing mistakes, and this one is no different. To be clear, Michael Wolff has been the subject of controversy in the Trump camp for a while, with multiple people calling out inaccuracies in his previous works, such as Siege, Trump Under Fire, back in 2019. CNN reported in 2019 that he claimed special counsel Robert Mueller drafted a 3-count obstruction of justice indictment against Trump before deciding not to move on forward with it. However, Peter Carr, the spokesperson for the special counsel, quickly knocked the report down. The documents that you've described do not exist, Carr said in a curt statement to media outlets, including CNN, who inquired about the claim. Wolff declined to comment to CNN, but told the New York Times his source was impeccable and that he had no doubt about the authenticity of the documents he relied on for his reporting. Additionally, in his other book, Fire and Fury, parts of it were disputed by some of the subjects involved, and fact-checking organizations like PolitiFact said the book contained factual errors. For instance, PolitiFact noted Wolff suggested in the book that Trump didn't know who former House Speaker John Boehner was in 2016, when in fact Trump had previously tweeted about his tendency to cry. Nevertheless, Wolff said at the time that he stood by absolutely everything in the book. So yeah, so we did mention that at the beginning of the story, right at the very top, because we knew as soon as you mentioned Michael Wolff these days, that's the first thing that's going to come up. Is back in 2019, he tried to release this book and it didn't go well for him. The book came out with a bang and then it kind of fizzled out pretty quickly. So do I think this is going to have any kind of real implications as to what's going on in the country right now? Probably not. I think everybody's going to continue just watching the relationship between these two men, one who was elected and one who was not, and see how that's going to play out. And more importantly, though, I think people are just concerned about how the things that Elon Musk is doing with his Doge and the things that Trump is doing is going to affect their lives personally. Already we're seeing people whose lives have gotten worse in one way or another because of the things that Elon Musk is doing with Doge and his handful of children who is running that department. So Mark, what do you think is going to come from this, if anything?
Yeah, I think your take on it is pretty healthy. I doubt that there's going to be anything really seismic that's going to result from this Michael Wolff text. I will say this, and I think he did a nice job on detailing some of the issues around Wolff's reporting. But everything that Wolff says in this instance seems pretty consistent with Donald Trump. It's not like you read any of Michael Wolff stuff and you go, come on, man, he would never do that. I mean, so everything sort of is in tune and out of that same hymnal. I don't think it'll have a great effect in terms of what will actually affect, for example, approval ratings or even policy. I think in the end, these are sort of saucy anecdotes, but they do give us a chance to re-examine the relationship between Trump and Musk and some of what we've done here today. When you talk about there's a financial relationship there that is so very critical. And Cenk is so right when he talks about the fact that they've invented, really, the Musk tech bro world of the White House has invented for Trump an entire area of dark money in which he can enrich himself. And he did not even know about that, have it on his radar prior to becoming president. So Musk continues to find ways to become very valuable to Donald Trump.
Yeah, and my last fun point is about Stephen Chung. He was the communications director for Trump during the campaign, and he's the one that does all those fiery statements like his peanut-sized brain, et cetera. And but now he's the White House communications director. Bit of an odd job for Stephen Chung, you would think, but I'm starting to like it.
Yeah, dog, that's for sure.
He's a wordsmith.
Yeah. No, I like that attitude. If you did it in service of the American people, that could be fun. Thanks for watching the Young Turks. Really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR. So those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.